I'm a former educator. I've been an independent musician now as a career for, I guess, about 8 years, going on 8 years, which is crazy. Quit my teaching job to attempt music, and turned out it paid a little more when you applied yourself, which is crazy. But no, I just decided to kind of bet on myself and figure things out. And every year I learn more and more, you know, through making mistakes and through growing and meeting a lot of these beautiful people you're going to see and hear from today. So I'm Mega Ran. Hi. To my left.
Hello. How are y'all doing? Good. I'm Kadesh Flo. I rap and play trombone. I'm based out of Kansas City, Missouri. Not Kansas, even though I'm really proud of Kansas City, Kansas. They've made some history recently, but we won't get into that side of things. In a good way, shockingly. I am a year and a half into being a full-time musician. Before that, I was in financial tech for a really awesome startup, and I left a lot to do something that I felt like I needed to do, and was out of bandwidth of trying to do both at the same time. So it's nice to learn from people like Mega Ran and some of the people I've met. And a lot of my content is inspired by anime and video games and relating that to my life. So that's me, at Kadesh Flow for everything.
Yeah. And to my right.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing, MAGFest? Is it too late to get a Colossus roar? Are we all Colossus style? Yeah. All right, there we go. Nice. Now I'm at MAGFest, right?
I didn't do it. Oh, I feel so bad.
You don't feel bad.
Oh, it's cool. It's his first one. No, it's not second one. Anyway. I do like a lot of stuff with sound, so now I just call myself, the Sound Samurai Audio Creative when I'm like telling people professionally, because people will be like, oh, you're a samurai. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. So I'm a teacher at my alma mater, Howard University. I teach audio production and engineering. And just full disclosure with this PowerPoint you're about to see, I put this together. These are the kind of PowerPoints I actually do present to my students. So I've kind of become like known as like the cool meme teacher. So you're gonna see a lot of memes and stuff that most teachers probably would not show you, but like, you know, I keeps it real and all that other cliche hip hop stuff. So anyway, happy to be here. Yay.
Word. And to K Murdoch's right, grab the mic, sir. Let them know who you are.
What's up, everybody? Name is Atlas. Drove up here overnight from Atlanta, Georgia, to be here with you all. I am a music producer. I specialize in hip-hop and R&B. My day-to-day, I'm actually the co-founder of a music tech company out of Atlanta called The Labs. I'm the head of music. And I really spend my whole day trying to figure out why people don't copyright and protect their intellectual property, but that's a whole other conversation.
Wow.
But I went to Norfolk State University in Virginia for music, and I left, was an engineer in an African studio where I did probably about 140 records for artists in Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. After that, I branched out on my own. After a few years, I started working with these wonderful people, mainly Kadesh Flow, and now I'm here at MAGFest with you beautiful people, so thank you for having me.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, on the end, you want to slide that mic towards her? Or not.
It's up to you.
Hi, I'm gonna be professional and use this mic like a grown-ass woman. So I'm Shubzilla. I'm from the Seattle area, mainly Renton, Washington. I'm one half of Shubzilla and Bill Beats. He over yonder. So I'm one of the co-founders of the NPC Collective, as well as a nonprofit organization known as Geek Girl Con. For my day job, I QA test for a VR company. It's okay. It doesn't pay well, but you know, we do what we need to. We do the needful.
Word.
I'm not wrong.
All right, Kay, you want to hit him with the first slide?
So this the title of this panel is Hip Hop and Video Games, a historical look at the good, bad, and ugly cooperative moments. So, like I said, there's a lot of like, yeah, I know. There's gonna be a lot of like really silly stuff, but it's 10 o'clock, so like hopefully this is like your caffeine boost, right? So Mario and Luigi, rappity rap, la la la. Now, obviously, like I said, this stuff originally when we do this panel, it's myself and Raheem usually. So just pretend that says Shubzilla, Atlas, and Kadesh 2 at the bottom, if you can read the font. So
let's get it started.
Random Beats Productions. Yeah, I went a little all out, like logos flying. I'm sorry, I got the new version of Keynote, which is the Mac PowerPoint, and like I got a little too
Coming
crazy.
at you.
Oh, let me turn it, because there's actually sound in this. So
Technology, yo. Is there sound?
Oh my God! All right, so let's.
That board. I mean, it's
All right, so
it's on, but
the founding fathers. So does anyone know who these two gentlemen are? Kork is on the right, and who's on the left?
The guy on the left is Tevye from Fiddler on the Roof.
Wow.
so close.
Yo, I don't even know that reference, but I'm like,
so close,
I
though.
think that was funny.
I think we got a polite raised hand here,
Right.
sir. You know who that is? Thank you.
Okay, so we got it right. The founding fathers, that's Kool Herc and Nolan Bushnell, father of hip hop, or who branded the name hip hop, and then actually the father of Atari, Chuck E. Cheese, and I don't know what he's doing now, but
Trying to relaunch the Atari, I think.
yes.
So it's
Kool
not
Herc,
going well. But
Nolan Bushnell, we already talked about that.
Kool Herc's story is great. I mean, and both of their stories are amazing, but both stories about just taking what you have and just making the most of it and just daring to go against the grain and create something new. Kool Herc was from Jamaica, came over, lived in the Bronx, New York, with his mother at, you know, the address where hip hop began? 1520 Sedgwick Ave. And he used to throw these house parties in the basement of the apartment complex and use his mother's records and start scratching them and wiki wiki and all those things. And he would create the first hip hop parties. And did he coin the term hip hop? I believe so.
Yes.
Okay, so it usually took a DJ or an MC getting on the microphone and saying things to keep the crowd moving. 1, 2, 3, in the place to be. Everybody having fun with me, you know. And that would get people
That's
like
literally how it
excited.
sounded, yeah.
Also, if you got a green Buick, you better go get it. It's about to get towed, you know.
Yeah,
So
they
like,
used to give the announcements, right?
yeah, the MC was the guy who gave the announcements, but they had to be fly too. So they came with a slick way of talking, which became rapping. And then the slickest talker on this side of town met the slickest talker on that side of town. Sometimes they would battle, or they would just borrow each other's slick lines. And hip hop was born through that. Nolan Bushnell, a guy who loves computers, loved to create. Just loved exploring imagination. Was a big fan of Disney. Applied at Disney a whole bunch of times. Never got it. Didn't get the job. Didn't work out. So he knew the next best thing to, you know, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck was rats and pizza. And so he founded Chuck E. Cheese. Animatronic rats with your pizza. He thought, oh, this is gonna put Disney out of business. He's gonna wish he never messed with me. And it didn't quite work out, but I think Chuck E. Cheese went bankrupt.
No, they're still open though.
Yeah, they're still
What?
There's one near me. Yeah.
There's literally 5 in the U.S. right now. But if you know one, take a picture. It's a
And they
relic.
still have the animatronic rat and all this stuff.
But both of these guys they dared to try something new, and I mean, you can go on to the next one, I guess.
Okay, cool. So the two, obviously, when you juxtapose them, are very similar, but also very different. Hip hop, beginning in the late 70s, commercially available in 1979. Everyone knows rappers delight. I said hip. I'm definitely not gonna play myself and try to do that. Begin as rebel music, but quickly gained obviously commercial popularity. Lobbied against by Congress and conservatives. It's now a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I'm sure that figure, when I put this together, this was like 2016, so it was north of 10 billion a year, and so it's just probably even higher than that now. Then you look at video games, very similar, beginning in the late, well, actually in this case, the early 1970s with the advent of consoles like the Odyssey, games like Pong. Dismissed but quickly gained commercial popularity, lobbied against by Congress and conservatives. is now a multi-billion-dollar industry. I mean, everyone knows that. Even my mom's was like, "Did you get that Red Dead Redemption?" What? I was like, "Oh God!"
what you
Now I
know
don't.
about
Now
that?
I don't even. I mean, I played it, but I was like, "Oh God!" Like when your mom's who's 65
cool
starts
anymore.
liking stuff, it's definitely not the business. The new one. My mom was like, "Do you want it for Christmas?" I'm like, "Mom, I'm almost 40 years
you know
old.
about
I got a job. I'm good. I love you, but I'm good."
I would have said yes.
I would have said, yeah, absolutely.
I definitely would have said yes,
So-
like 100%.
She bought me a GameStop like gift
A
card.
gift card,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm like, I don't even shop at GameStop.
You a GameStop gift card?
Yo, she cares, yo.
No, I know. Sorry.
I mean, but imagine though if like you're listening to Snoop Dogg and your mom comes in and starts like finishing the lines,
Yeah,
like
that's what
you'd be like, "What?" You know what I mean? Like it would throw you off a little bit.
Yo, can I
It's like
tell
you
a
don't know
quick-
nothing about this. Ready to make an entrance, so back on up. You know what I mean? You'd be like,
I wouldn't
Mom?
be mad if Momzilla got in on that though. You see her?
I wouldn't be mad.
I did a quick job for an elder lady not too long ago. Like she just wasn't strong enough to do this thing. It was a quick job. I walk in and she was cleaning her house to Jay-Z.
Really?
Wow.
I'm not mad.
Oh, what album though? Like,
Are we
She
talking like New York's, what is it, Empire State of Mind, or like some deep cuts?
I think it was Everything Is Love. So it was definitely
wow.
some new jam.
Yeah, but it was like the dude. She was like, "Oh yeah, my daughter and I just went to see them." And
Wow.
I was like, "Yo."
Damn.
Yeah, my
Ladies and
mom,
gentlemen.
when she gets mad, my mom quotes 50 Cent, and it's never a good thing.
What?
She's like, keep thinking I'm candy before your skull gets popped and your brain pop out the top, like Jack in the Box. I'm like, I'm sorry, Mom.
What?
Okay?
What?
Sorry.
Wow.
I need to meet you. That's crazy. Word. So now we're going to talk, I guess, movies. There's been a lot of films where hip hop has been, or even video games have been represented, and hip hop. There have been some
that's
great
my
ones,
movie, man.
and of course, there's been some misses, but we'll go through them. I will not. I was about to say those are wins to me, and then Pixels.
Yeah. Well, I said the good, bad,
Mario.
and yeah.
Mario was dope. The Wizard was cool.
No, it wasn't.
8 Mile was good.
Hey, the new
Breaking's
Tomb Raider.
great.
New Tomb Raider.
New Tomb Raider.
Anybody seen it?
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
It's fire.
Tomb Raider's
It's fire.
good.
This is 2 years old, y'all. I haven't updated it. I'll
All
put
right,
some.
you just-
I've been told it's fire. I should say.
But Pixels, though.
Pixels though, trash. All right, moving forward.
So, you know, when you think about them trying to do those movies, what was their main objective?
Mo
More
money.
More money. More money. This is for my people who are old, like us.
80s babies might get this. 80s babies will get it.
Sorry. It's funny because I showed this to a bunch of students, like maybe if they're like 20 and they're like, I totally don't. Who is that? I was like, oh, that's the dude from Lethal Weapon on TV. I'm like, oh no.
Dang.
Anyway.
Burns.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, man, that's real talk. I went to GDC for the first time. It was like 2-3 years ago. And I was meeting people, you know, networking, talking to folks. You know how conversations work. So we start chatting, and then the dude, the guy's a filmmaker, and I was like, what made you come to a game festival? Like, this isn't free. Like, you pay money to get into GDC. And he's like, man, I saw that video games made $300 billion last year, and now I'm here, you know. And that was literally it. He's like, oh man, I see the money. So in both sides, we've seen how the money has kind of crept in and led to like some less than stellar creations.
Yep.
You know, due to those cash grabs. So that will always be a part of both cultures, and we kind of got to spot those things, and you know, but we're smart, so we figure it out.
Well, let's take a real quick, I guess, like walk down memory lane. Before we look forward, we got to think back. So.
Okay.
ST, what I represent.
These are like early
NY, hold it down for my peace in the veil and do or die for the
Defender of my title, burger time, strapped with lyrical traps. Without a murder rhyme, I'm berserk.
Let me tell you about the proto culture. If you don't know the culture, here's the whole structure. We had enough of the lackluster.
Yeah.
Trust us, we get the kind of games you can't win in Blockbuster. Game related, raise it bit by bit. Yo, D, link up the cable, we'll go hit for hit. Phantasma, plasma, particle beam means I have you on a run. Rendered effects hot like magnets.
I play games by Capcom with a power glove strapped on.
So you got Super Brooklyn by the Cocoa Brothers, aka Smith & Wesson. Saphir with Smart Bomb, which was like one of my favorite tracks that a good friend from California hit me to when we were in college. I was like, yo, that's like, he's sampling like Qbert and all the coolest sound effects from video games and like rapping about them. It was so cool. And then last, that was Dell, rapping from both sides of the brain. The album Protoculture.
Yeah, Protoculture. A lot of people consider it to be like the first nerdcore song, or kind of predating a lot of video game rap and things. And yeah, Dell did his thing.
But video game music invades the charts.
All right. Oh, this is my jam right here.
Oh man, this is my joint. This was my joint in like high school.
This so many ringtones, yo. Can we play it? You got it in here?
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh, okay. Crank this, yo.
Low, but yeah, that's as far as it goes. We can't turn up as. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so yo, samples Pac-Man, this is Pac-Man. It peaked at number 15 on Billboard's Hot 100. I feel old just saying that. 2004, that's 15 years ago. Yikes. Certified gold with over 500,000 single sales. 1.5 million. That was like a big thing. Remember when ringtones, selling ringtones?
Oh,
was like
heck
the
yeah,
hot
I remember
thing?
ringtones.
Yeah. So, and then Namco filed a lawsuit for willful copyright infringement, and Little Flip, it was game over, no pun intended. Yeah.
Haven't heard from him since.
So for Flip, it was truly and ironically, this is my favorite. Yeah. Has anyone ever seen that movie, The Story of Ricky?
Ricky,
Who's seen it? Yeah, there we go.
Classic.
All right, that's a whole nother panel that we can talk about. Anyway. Yo, it's funny. I played that clip in my class, and then people were like, oh, my God. Like, I'm telling the dean. I'm like, yo, like, you don't think that's funny? It's not real.
Really?
Like, you can clearly tell that's not a person.
I'm telling the dean.
This is totally offensive to leprechauns.
Oh, yeah.
I would feel some type of
I'm
way
offended.
if I was a leprechaun.
I'm
This
not a
is
leprechaun.
not the way we ball.
Yeah. Not the... Another early example was Pac-Man Fever of Buckner Garcia.
Yo, classic.
Yeah. Peaked at number 9 on Billboard Hot 100. Certified gold. 2.5 million copies sold by 2008. It's crazy that's still making. And number 98 of 100 greatest one-hit wonders. That's crazy. Remade into, yeah. Everyone remembers it from Pixels. Who did see Pixels, they remade it for the movie.
Yeah, your boy Jace Hall to the remix.
And went to the well too many times when they released.
Yo, they followed up.
They did a whole
with
Do
the
the Donkey Kong. I don't have a clip of that audio, and be thankful.
We can't find it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, wow. Anyway,
What was the
this
third
is another. Sorry, I could just let this loop for hours. I just think
It's amazing.
This is like when you want to do Assassin's Creed in the hood, but you're not quite make it.
Hood
You're not
parkour fail.
Sorry, all right, enough of that.
right,
I told you there's gonna be a lot of silliness. Like, all right, so break. Oh, you want to talk about this break
All right,
dance?
so Epix put out Breakdance for the Commodore 64.
I didn't sample the game. I just thought this music would fit. Because people are like, yo, you sampled the game? I was like, no.
84. The sounds were not going like this at all.
Right.
Check out these next level graphics. I mean, when you
Literally two guys breakdancing in front of a school or something.
Ironically, I can tell the move he's trying to do. Like, I mean, that's all you can ask for.
I don't know what the hell.
I see him doing a little. What do they call that? Yeah, that's the thing. Yep.
It was one of the first like quick time, event games, I guess. Like the
Some people saw some ideas and were like, "Oh, we can do something with like quick time, copy the move style games," and then dance.
I love the name though. It was like we don't have anything else to call this, so we'll just say breakdance.
Breakdance.
Like, literally the most obvious thing.
It's funky fresh. Like I'm sure that's what the commercial said.
All right, so we had a win. A win would be
Yes.
introduction of the MC-based theme to the video game world. First of its kind, timing-based lyrics and music game. success spawned a sequel. I didn't even know there was a cartoon in Japan. Wikipedia for the win. Now this is obviously dated because one, this Kickstarter was like 2 years ago, and I don't think he made his goal.
He failed.
Yeah. But I'm like, Rabbit, really? Like, I don't know.
Spiritual successors were a thing, like on Kickstarter, like four years ago.
Right.
And
my Mac is about to die. I think I have my charger.
Shoot!
Does anyone have a charger?
Charge it. Nope.
No.
All right, keep it moving fast. Let's go.
Let's just speed through this.
Gotta go fast.
Timeline of a notable hip hop. Oh God, and this is like the slide with all the text.
There's a lot of words. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Vendetta,
right.
like that. Bulletproof, that wasn't good. Samurai Champloo, sidetrack. I didn't know about that. The Timberland thing. Hey, Capcom grants an exclusive license agreement to some nerdy black guy you may know of.
Oh yeah, I know that dude. That was me. Yeah.
This is like playing with the turbo button depressed right now. So, Rapstar, that was trash.
That was not good.
I didn't even know Black Eyed Peas had a game on Wii. I didn't have a Wii.
I didn't know Black Eyed Peas were hip hop at that time. No.
But did Fergie sing the national anthem though?
Ooh.
I didn't know. Did you know? Wow.
Did I know it? I wrote
record
it.
that?
Oh yeah, you did. These are all like lifted for you. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I was like, oh yeah, you wrote that. Like, this is a real cool. I do want to talk about this real quick, or just mention it. Digging in the Carts, Red Bull did a series from 2015. Now it's like a radio show on their Red Bull Radio. It's really good, man. Check it out.
Awesome.
It's called Digging in the Carts. It's like a 6-part series. It was obviously made for this generation because all the episodes are like 9 minutes long. So it's like nothing you have to feel like you're too invested in. Sorry, cool. Even I don't like watching things that are too long.
Cool.
You know.
I'm about it.
All right, so Nerdcore. Oh, that was fun a lot. That kind of spooks my students when I do that too. Like, holy cow, who's this white dude who jumped out?
Crazy effects.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you've heard of Nerdcore hip hop. All right.
Yeah, you better.
Cool.
Hold on.
Alex Trebek brought you here. No. Maybe he put a lot of people onto the Nerdcore. I don't know.
Notable OGs in the genre: MC Lars.
Are you serious?
What?
That's tight.
Oh, YT Cracker. I get it now. I get the
You get
point.
it?
I was like, right, he's just like Weird Al Yankovic. He's like the OG, right?
Yo, pause it.
Yeah. All right.
I just noticed something similar with all of the pictures here, and I don't know if anybody can point it out to me, but they're all white dudes. So like, I don't know, MC Chris. Is MC Chris? Is he on there?
I couldn't find
Another
a good
white
picture
dude.
of MC.
But-
That wasn't like him frowning. I guess that's like.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting that, when we think nerdcore, for the most part, at least, for the most part of its history, we thought white dudes doing nerdy stuff. And that was where, when I saw that, I was like, oh man, like, what about nerdy black dudes and girls and, and brown dudes and girls and Asian dudes and girls? And I was like, what's going on? What's up with that? And then some things happened. So, just thought that was cool.
Oh, this is like the personal part. Like when I was always like try to make it real, like and like personal to me. Like for me, hip hop was always two distant worlds. It was hip hop over here and video games over there. And then I tell this story about, oh God, we'll skip through this part. I was like, it's summer of 1995. This is the most crazy.
Next slide, Kyle.
But this is
However,
true.
this is a classic.
This is true. I literally beat Chrono Trigger listening to Mobb Deep's The Infamous.
All right, keep going.
So, yeah.
Chrono Trigger didn't come up yet.
Well, it's going to show in the graphic.
Rest in peace, Prodigy.
God, I talk a lot. Even on my slides, I'm like, damn, I'm like super. Sorry.
So literally, I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but in the 90s, like, I remember clearly playing Sonic the Hedgehog, listening to Public Enemy. You know what I mean? Like, I can clearly recall these moments all coming together. Mega Man 2 with LL Cool J or Beastie Boys. Like, so they were both existing, but at the same time, for some reason, even on my block, you were just weird if you were into games, or at least vocal about being a gamer. And then RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan just recently announced, I don't know if this can cause an announcement, but he said that gaming is an element of hip hop. Have you heard this?
No.
And I would love to definitely discuss that with the group. Let's get some thoughts around the table here. Let's get some thoughts. Let's start with Atlas. Any thoughts of gaming and its connection to hip hop as an element? When you think elements are breaking, b-boying, graph, writing, those things. Is it connected to you?
I would definitely say so. We all play video games for one reason or another. I know for myself, I can't even imagine writing.
Get on the mic, son.
My fault.
Producers like to play the background. You can tell.
I can't even imagine. Is that super?
Oh, I feel like.
Okay. Cool, thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a direct. Can everybody hear me?
Yay!
All right, dope.
Yeah.
I know.
They always do. Remember that, guys. Yeah, I can see a direct comparison or from when it comes to hip hop and gaming. I can't even imagine. Like, all of my records start by me playing video games. Like, everything. It doesn't matter what situation it is. If I'm having a rager moment, I'll go play Gears of War. If I need to do something a little more R&B-ish, and please don't laugh at me for this, but I'll play something like Final Fantasy. Because that brings out the soft and cuddly in me. Things of that nature. Like, I do those type of things, and it helps me process my emotions. Video games is really good about, especially ones where you get to choose, your path, like a Fallout or a Skyrim. It puts you in the mood. It puts you in something creative space. Not to mention the fact it's an outlet for all of us. Much like hip hop was early on, it was an outlet for people to express themselves in a way you wouldn't otherwise be able to. So they definitely are. They definitely coexist in that space. I would definitely say.
True. Shubzilla, anything you want to add?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of the overlap I see is with the battling and the shit talking, right? So you'll see folks off the dome just battling each other in the cypher or what have you. And I've been hella into Overwatch lately, and Bill Beats will tell you, and the rest of my squad will tell you, when I get like a quad kill or whatever, they know. Like, so again, it's like that back and forth of, oh yeah, well I got you, all right, I'm gonna get you back, and then that exchange comes through, and it's like that, and I see that often with like FPS games, especially that battle aspect.
I get called the N-word more in FPSs.
Oh.
So I will agree.
Oh yeah, now like
that it's like hip hop in that regard.
Oh word.
Yeah, I would.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, okay. So this harkens me back to like who you calling a bitch, right? Because many moons ago, when Shubzilla was a young, wide-eyed Shubzilla, new to the world, she played a shit ton of Halo 2, right? And oh, thank you. You can clap for me. I appreciate that. And a lot of these folks came through and really halted a lot of my fun, because immediately when I got on the mic to say some shit, because I can't help myself, a headshot's a headshot. If you don't duck, that's on you.
Bars.
Lies. But they would get salty, and the misogyny would come out. So I'm like, all right, I'm out. But then Overwatch came through, and I saw folks that looked like me and looked like my friends and just looked like different. It wasn't just some white dude like playing Marine and whatever the hell, So I was like, yes, I'll be Symmetra. I'm a turret a hoe, and thus like the battling, So, sorry, that was a tangent, but the battling.
Yo, hashtag turret a hoe. I like that. There's parts of this that are like me focused, and I don't really want to get into too much of that, but definitely.
They're funny though.
I can say like the combination of hip hop and games like led to creating albums like Mega Ran and trying to figure out what I wanted to be and do, and not seeing anybody who looked like me in that space. So what I literally did was just put myself in the game. I was like, all right, colored Mega Man black, and let's do this, and send it to K Murdoch before we know each other, and and he saw it and was like,
This was my reaction when I saw the cover. Oh man. Oh, my initial.
Next episode.
Yo, I have to ask, who is that guy?
I don't know. He's just
that?
mean.
It's like the most Steve Harvey.
But
looking
after
guy.
I literally true story. So Megaran, he sent me 2 CDs. He sent me The Call, and he sent me Megaran. And you know, naturally, like The Call kind of gravitated when I saw the cover. I was like, okay, cool, progressive hip hop. I'm listening to it. But then when I saw the Megaran, I was like, come on, man, like really. And I was like, okay, I listened to it though, and after listening to it, I was like, jeez.
dang,
Like,
this,
yeah, I'm sorry.
this is rated M. this panel.
This is the last one I'll do. All right, we'll just stop.
No, that was great, man. No, I'm just messing with you. That's all.
Well, I think my laptop's about
Trying to
to
save
die.
his battery.
I kind of have to mix a song later.
Okay, so
I need a little bit of juice.
so Kadesh, I would love to get your thoughts. You know, you've I think I discovered you when you were specifically doing a lot of anime influenced rap songs. This is in the anime and hip hop panel, but can you say that anime probably spoke to you in that same way that like we're talking about like games speaking to like you know in that same hip hop kind of way, or
Yeah.
why anime? Like what made you write an anime rap song?
Well, it was actually video games first. Anime came because actually when I put out, the first thing I put on YouTube that I actually took seriously was a Skyrim rap. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a Skyrim rap, I'm gonna sample the joint, I'm gonna sample the theme song for Elder Scrolls, and I'm gonna put it out before the game comes out and see what happens. And it like started doing some numbers, and I was like, wow. So then I did a Star Wars The Old Republic rap, and it took me a while to get to an anime rap, but people started requesting stuff, and somehow, I forget how, I think I did one Bleach rap. Or Richie and I did one Bleach rap, and then Richie and I did a Bleach rap together, and people started just requesting all these anime. So literally, the anime thing actually came like it dominating my content for so long came from people requesting it. But video games spoke to me because the soundtrack, especially as games started evolving, really moved me a lot, and I always saw myself rapping to it. And how I actually started making doing songs that were like Zelda raps or Chrono Trigger raps or raps with my life related to like certain characters or whatnot was a convention that I helped put together as an intern at Creative Campus at the University of Alabama called PixelCon, and it was just for Alabama students, and they had a video game concert, and I had a band called Kadesh and the Perfect Strangers, and and we called it the Perfect Strangers because I'm a jazz guy, and we had like the baddest cats in town come through, and you didn't know who they were, and we would still kill it every time we did a show. So I had to do different shows with different people, but we did like a bunch of video game joints with a live band with me killing it on trombone or whatever. And around that time, I heard Black Materia, and because I was like, I was hiding all this stuff. I was like, nobody wants to listen to this. And then I saw Rand's stuff, and I was like, yo, I actually, this is funny. So this is funny to me. I emailed Rand in 2011 and asked him if he took interns, and and like. Wow. And I'm sure that was an awkward email for him to read.
It's a little awkward. I was like, what? I'm recording raps in my closet. Like, what are you Negro, please. You know what I mean? Yeah, literally, I made Black Materia in my closet, you know, in my apartment, and like, you know, and people even still today were like, man, that's a game changer. Like, it's just something that, you know, it's taking the music that was so special to a lot of people and then adding lyrics to it, you know, and then I was like, wow, this is kind of my thing. Like,
does everybody know what that is, by the way?
Doing it. Have you heard the Black Materia project? Okay, so I'll explain it. Thank you. I'll take that. But it's a Final Fantasy VII album, you know, as a hip opera, I guess you can call it, you know, where I take on parts of the roles of the characters, and I enlist other artists to be characters as well, and had a lot of fun with that. I always tell the story that I was teaching at the time when I put it out, and then I had forgot to put my phone on silent one day, and I'm just getting like bing, all these like ticks, and I looked, and it was like someone downloaded your album, bing, and then again, bing, someone downloaded your album, and I was like, what the heck's going on? And I got a text from my friend who was like, dude, Black Materia is on the front page of Reddit. And this is 2011, so I was like, what the heck is Reddit? No, clearly no. And it was. And then like from there, you know, PlayStation Magazine hit me up, Game Informer, like a lot of really cool things happened. And then that's like what encouraged me, empowered me to want to like try and quit my job. And I went to PAX East and played some of the shows for the first time, and went to Orlando and a lot of great cities that had showed, you know, nerdy rap a lot of love, you know, from Seattle to Orlando to Austin, Texas. And I was just like, I think I can do this. And yeah, it was, then I got the phone call from MC Chris. He was like, hey man, you want to go on tour with me, man? He really talks like that.
He does talk like that though, isn't it?
Sorry, but he does. He was like, well, I don't know who you are, but my fans say that you are pretty good, and you should tour with me. And I was like, sure. So then I hit up Murdoch, and we hit the road for probably
2 months,
44 dates in 50 days. And it was just like the most intense thing I had ever done to that point. But while some people, like that can affect you one of two ways. Like people can come off that and be like, I never want to do that again. Me, I came off like, when do I do it again? Like that was so fun. Like I'm meeting new people every city. I get to play my jams for them and they get into it. So I was just really addicted to that life. And I was like, oh, how do I extend this? And, you know, and so from then I just decided to really give it a full-time effort, and kind of here we are, and all because of Pac-Man fever. Yeah. Yeah. No, a little flip, game over, I think that was the one. So we didn't get into any like current ones. I think you stopped at maybe 2016 or so. If even if there's a hand in here that could tell me like for like when we update the thing, like what's, you know, have you heard of any recent like combinations of like hip hop and games, or like in hip hop and movies, or games and movies, and one that you think is a good one? Because we talk about a lot of bad ones. Back there in the back. Wait, sorry. That was the, okay, so no, go ahead, I'm sorry. All right. Yeah.
Oh, right. I was wondering what was your take on that, because that pulled me into like video game music.
Ah, that's a good point.
Everything that was in DDR, it just pulled everything together.
That's a good point. Beat Mania, a lot of the Bomani stuff is I think a great spot to, and I didn't consider a lot of it hip hop, even though maybe I should, but a lot of it was just very dancey. You know, it was a lot of dance music, a lot of anime inspired music. But yeah, like that's a lot of people's entry to video game music, because you know you're in front of it and the speakers are literally just blasting music at you while you play, which makes people say, hey, I want to go home and get that CD or go download that. So that's good. I think we should go with a slide on Dance Dance Revolution for sure. What was that?
I think we also have to take in consideration games that promote a lot of current music. For example, like GTA. They definitely a lot of people do a Saints Row. You do submission. They take licenses for current records all the time, and you could play. You know, there's a friend of mine who does that for a living. He just goes out and gets licenses for current songs and puts them on the radio station in a video game. So I mean, like, that's also something that's very current, I would say.
That's a good idea. GTA 3 is where I like ran into a lot of rappers that I began listening to. Tony Hawk. Oh, come on. Don't get me started.
Man.
Tony Hawk, bruh. Don't get me started. No, yes, sir.
Rumor has it that Kanye West started making, I know.
Oh, this is an anti-Kanye zone.
Kanye canceled, bruh.
First Fiddler on the Roof and then Kanye, man. No, it's fine.
I know he's an awful person.
All right.
It's so hard.
It's still dope. That's true.
Yeah.
So apparently he started making beats by screwing around with Mario Paint and hentai.
Really?
Oh, man.
I know a lot of musicians who started on Mario Paint, so hentai though?
Really?
Like
We're not gonna have a conversation on hip hop and hentai.
Thank you for that.
What about 21? Anybody caught that Mortal Kombat joint?
Oh yeah, that was actually kind of hot.
So here's what happens with me, and this is something I need to get over myself on. When how do I say this nicely? I can't say it nicely. I hated watching the Mortal Kombat trailer and hearing like 21 Savage. I hated that. I'm like, yo, man, there's a million dope rappers who would have made you a dope Mortal Kombat song. Like, why are you just trying to grab for the commercial radio appeal? Like, these are the people who have no particular love or anything great to say about gaming. However, I get it. I get it, but I can still be mad about it.
I'm
you know
gonna
what I
hit
mean?
you with the tech.
You're right. I get it.
AK gonna hit your neck.
Yes, sir. Wow. Epoch was one that, thank you. That changed my life. I was sitting on the floor at E3. I was charging my phone. I'll never forget. And I looked up in Darksiders. There was a giant Darksiders poster. And I was like, Darksiders. And then I thought Strider. And then I thought Mach Rider. And I was like, oh, let me write this down. And so basically it was just, for those who haven't heard the song Epoch, it's a Chrono Trigger theme that K Murdoch remixed. And on it, the concept is just using as many video game titles as I can to make words and lines connect, and that's something that, to me, my favorite musicians or rappers have always done that. Jizza, the genius, would do that with like record labels, read the labels, you know what I mean, and come in with different things like that. So great MCs have always come from that school. Substantial, we saw today, he did the numbers thing, counting up to 40, and like, I loved conceptual records like that, and that was my goal with that, was to add my contribution to that. And it was from a Darksiders poster that I saw there. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, good question. Yeah, we'll take Q&A since we do have about 17 minutes. But feel free to, you, sir, with the luxurious afro, yes. I don't think I've played Buster Group 2. Maybe a while ago. What system was that on? Was that PlayStation 2 or 1?
Yeah, a good soundtrack. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna make a note of it. I'm gonna look at it. Buster Group 2.
One thing we've talked about it in the old panel, and I should have added in this one, was like the person who really, to me, who brought that, the word champloo means like cultural mixing, who brought that kind of back in the day, like the 90s, was Yuzo Koshiro.
Yeah, he should have been there. Streets of Rage.
I mean, to this day, I was always so geeked that you could pause the Super Adventure Island and the music would just play. So I would pop my cassette tape in and like record the beats, and them joints were dope.
They were dope beats.
Because it was like straight New Jack Swing. Mm-hmm. But it was like this Japanese dude doing it. It was like so cool.
Yeah.
Even though the game is not really great, but the music.
It didn't
is so
really
good.
fit. Like the music didn't hit the game.
No, not at all. Yeah.
But it was just good music.
Yeah. Streets of Rage, Act Riser.
Oh, so good.
Streets of Rage was litty.
The question, the guy right behind you, and then you. Yeah, sorry. Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Those are good. Those have that. Okay.
No, I haven't seen that. Really? Huh.
No. They're on Netflix. Like
that's crazy.
Animation. Okay.
In anime and stuff like that, or well, it's funny. And WWE did a rap battle, I think, last year, and they had me be a part of it. And I instantly thought, like, this is gonna suck. Like, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, this is gonna be like culturally offensive and bad. But it really wasn't. Like, I feel like to do it, they studied rap battles. You know, they took notes on like things that get the crowds going and like different techniques and they used a lot of those in it. And I think it turned out to be a really great segment. So I think if it's done well with respect toward the culture, I think I'm all for it. You know, I just don't necessarily feel like, yo, we need throw hip hop in here to get somebody's attention. You know what I mean? Or like we used to talk about the 50 Cent Bulletproof game. That was like, hey, it's rap, right? 'Cause it's 50 Cent, but it's him like shooting people up constantly. Like it's just so like gratuitous and silly. But I mean, that's what 50 Cent does, though. So
That's right.
True to life, you know what I'm saying? 50. You, sir, and then I got you. Oh, SSX Tricky's dope. You know, we don't consider like snowboarding a particularly hip hop sport. However, the soundtrack's really good. So,
Like Jet Set Radio Future.
yo,
Yes.
that used to be in the thing too. Kyle took out all my good stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Understand. So good. So yeah, like that was another like games that made me go out and buy the soundtrack. Or it was like, oh my gosh, I need this. Like I gotta find this. That was another good one. Third Strike. So good. You, sir, did you have a question or was it you?
There's a gentleman in the back.
Gentleman in the back. Run the jewels.
That one of the earlier games that I remember, I'm not a big gamer like that.
What are you doing here?
Get the hell out of here, sir. No.
NBA Live? Yes.
Man.
They had like Just Blaze curated one year,
And they would bring out like artists who you didn't always know, and you'd be able to find really great tracks. They started doing that again with the Maddens and like the live, and 2K started doing that as well, like enlisting like Pharrell and DJ Premier and guys like that.
remember Def Jam Vendetta was the song that basically launched Joe Budden's career because Pump It Up was like used like his match music, like his boss level music.
Def Jam Vendetta, so good.
I thought that was for like B2K and
Yeah, that's true. There's
how
always
I
been a
heard the song
focus.
first. Yeah.
Pump
I
it
always
up.
remember Omarion every time I hear Pump It Up, me personally.
What?
Why?
Can you explain? Why?
Remember the B2K movie where they danced to that, like the whole first
nah.
segment of the movie?
I didn't watch
I
that.
don't remember the B2K movie.
Never
Sorry.
would have watched the B2K
I
movie.
cannot.
Old.
I got questions.
I'm that old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're all touring again. So I'm sure you'll be there, right?
In the front
That tour
row.
is going to end in a fight.
Front row. Yeah, they're not making it through that
Yeah.
tour.
This is 2011 and not necessarily past 2016, but Shala's theme on Never Did by Wiz Khalifa off of Kush and Orange Juice.
Yeah.
That joint was fire. And that actually made me a Wiz Khalifa fan because I wasn't rocking with him before that.
Super Brooklyn had it on. They were on. It was on 2K. Oh yeah. Yeah, we ran that. That's a classic. Yes. Hey now. Yo. We were just talking about that on my podcast. That soundtrack is incredible. There's so much good rap on there. Nas, Razzcast, Saphir, so many. So good.
I've erased that memory from my childhood. I thought that
I don't
movie
think
was
they
bad
played
when I
any
was
of those
5.
songs in the actual movie, but it was. I don't understand.
No, they were in the
That
background.
doesn't
like,
make sense like the rest of the movie didn't make sense, so I guess that's cool.
No, that movie did not make sense.
I have feelings about Street Fighter. Like I have feelings, okay? I saw that when I was like 10 years old. I saw that opening day. I was ready. And why was Cammy not 18 and not like a drone of like Bison or whatever the fuck? Why was she like in the UN or I don't know. Like there were it made me question Jesus,
answers.
okay? Like that's how real that was.
That's the thing.
But the
If you
soundtrack's
thought it was
dope.
if you thought it was bad as a child, which I did, and she apparently did, like that's telling. I'm just saying.
That's telling. Yeah, because as kids we loved everything. We're like, yeah, that's so great.
I was like, Mom, that movie was trash.
I got one soft spot in the story. Raul Julia, I think that was his last role
Oh yeah.
as Bison.
Raul Julia.
And apparently he only took that role because I think his kid or maybe his grandson was a big Street Fighter fan, and he's like, all right, I'll do it. And so there is like, cute story.
That's such a
He's the
flair.
best part. He is.
He's the heart of that movie.
He is. He's
He
my
brought
favorite
such
part of that
flair.
movie.
Yo.
Wow.
Wow, dog.
All right. You, sir. I'm back.
So anyone answer. So it's Tuesday. You have to pick between new albums that just dropped or a new video game. What are you choosing?
Wait, new what? What was that?
Say it again, man.
Like what?
What year is it?
Yeah, what year is it?
Like next Tuesday?
If it's right now, like this year? That's tough.
Oh man.
Oh, 94. I got to get an album. I'll play the game at my spoiled rich neighbor's house. You know what I mean? Gosh, man. Yeah, there's been times where you've had to make that decision. And I'm writing this book right now that I'm really excited about. And through the book, oh, thanks. Hopefully one day you'll get to read it. I literally read over it every day, and I'm like, oh, I gotta add something. So like, I don't know when it's ever really done. So, but anyway, it goes through my life, and then it branches off. Like, okay, so in 1994, when I was messing up in school, this was happening in hip hop, and this was happening in gaming. So it kind of like just connects them all. But like, man, to me, it's really tough because they've gone so hand in hand with me. But my answer would be I get the new music, and then I'd play the game, like hopefully with a friend or get it for Christmas later, you know. But it was always so important at that young age to be up on new music. Like and even now we're like, man, you ain't heard that new, man. What's
It's
wrong
so
with you,
different
you know?
now because people just like, yo, I mean,
have to
they
buy it
pop up
anymore.
on Spotify and then it's like the song is there. Like where we used to have to go and physically buy this joint. Like,
back in my day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else comment? Shubs, new music from your favorite artist or new like sequel game, like you're like from what you've been really waiting for?
Like this year or when I was but a baby child?
I guess in your childhood, like in your most formative years.
See, I was struggling just to like get money for being on the honor roll, much less trying to like prioritize a video game or a new like release. Well, I would. Here's what I would do, because my grade school, we believed in the barter system. So I would get like whatever new. How old was I when I was in the 90s? Okay. So like I'd have like Super Street Fighter 2, right? Just fresh off, right? Yeah. And like a lot of my buddies would have like the newest album release, whatever it was. And then we would trade. All right, I see you with that album. I got Super Street Fighter 2 though. Yes, with the toothbrushes and then like maybe a bubblegum Rolex. I don't know. Take your pick. But so we would exchange media back and forth, and then we'd just reconvene at recess like the next week and just be like, "Oh, did you beat the game? Did you see the ending? This track was dope," you know, and do it that way. So that way, like, I'm not the only one having fun, but my friends are too, and that makes me happy. Oh.
Aww. I think that's literally the best way to end it. But if there, and from Shubs of all people, that was so beautiful. That was beautiful. Okay, we'll take one or two more. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I do a wrestling podcast called Matt Mania. It's really about a third about wrestling. The rest of it is usually what I'm watching on Netflix, what I'm listening to, what's grinding my gears for that week. Like. And with three other great guys. So you can get it wherever you get podcasts. It's called Matt Mania, named after the old video game. Question, sir.
In the maroon hat.
So I'm in the process of making a Western. I love Western movies, like spaghetti Western.
Nice.
I love hip hop. I want to mix those two genres.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh.
Did you?
How do you, during your process and when you're you guys, how do you balance it? Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to make it corny. I don't want cowboys rapping.
Like Posse. Remember like Posse?
Can I start that one? Can I start this?
That's a great question. All right, we're going to go through that one and probably end it off that. Go ahead.
I would just say
you can't try too hard to go any particular direction, and you also can't try too hard not to go in any particular direction. Both of those are recipes for failure. I know that sounds ambiguous, but it's like you understand within yourself and your inner artist, and you have to be honest with your inner artist and with yourself on what you're trying to create, and just kind of if you create a solid groundwork when you're trying to combine things, the groundwork will create things itself, and all you have to do is just keep working and listen to the stuff that you created. I don't want to sound like too philosophical or whatever, but really, like, in my opinion.
Don't make it corny. That's another thing. Like, that's always me. Like, to me too, man. Like, I was like, video game rap. Oh, this is gonna be corny, and it's like trying hard to. But as long as you have that in the back of your mind, I feel like it won't be. I've talked to like artists who make comics, and they're like, well, how does a comic become hip hop? You know, and it's like it's not forcing it in. It's just kind of letting it exist within a world where hip-hop also exists. So I think that's like the most important thing to pull out of it.
Yeah, you should have told everybody that ever wrote Iron Fist to not do that.
Damn. But Luke Cage was cool, though. Season 1. Much better, but I like them both. If you have any other questions, though, I'll be glad to like talk with you over to the side. We really aren't in a huge rush, but we do have to get out of the room. So before I go, we got 2 more minutes. I'm going to shamelessly plug that I, Mega Ran, have a concert tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m., main stage. Make sure you're all there. What time is the concert tomorrow? Where at? AM or PM? Cool. That's important. PM to the AM. If I see him, I'ma spray him. All right. So also, Kadesh is playing tomorrow.
Yeah, Vandal Fest.
Vandal Jam. That's right. That will be so many of our favorites. Shubzilla will be there. Kadesh will be there. Schaefer the Dark Lord will be there. SPF will be there. It's going to be really great. It's a great compilation of everybody, so you can see that, and then you can literally walk right into, from there, my show at the main stage with K Murdoch, and Bitforce will be backing me, so I'm really looking forward to that. 5 to about 10, I think. Yeah. So it's like a little mini fest. What's that? I think it's in a jam space. Yeah, jam space is somewhere different now, only because I wasn't here last year, so I don't remember where it was. But it's further. It's closer to the elevator that's closest to the main entrance of the hotel. Again, thank you so much for being here. Can I kick it?
Yes, you can.
Word. Thank you so much for your time. This is the Hip Hop and Video Games panel.